What if I wanted to record something, but the weather said, no, we're gonna be cold and rainy for the next whenever, and it's effectively messing up my throat, so I am full of sick and mucus, and I am just absolutely suffering. Oh my god. What's up, gamers? It's Arrow. Happy Halloween to everybody who celebrates it. So last year I attempted to do 2 prompts at once, and one of them was Splattober, which was a Splatoon based prompt. Since I didn't get to finish the prompt, I ended up saving the speed paint for Halloween featuring my Agent 4 Ritchie because it was his birthday. I've been playing with the idea of info dumping about my OCs on this channel for the longest time, but I never really understood how to go about it. Like, I'd watch inspirations talk about their characters and their world building, but the entire concept and how they did it was just so alien to me that I was just, how do I do it? How do I do the thing? But then it just kind of hit me. Just go nuts, go bananas, go feral. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. So here I'm going to be talking about the birthday boy and one of my proudest achievements in the world of squids and character design, Ritchie Loon. So Ritchie's creation is actually really freaking funny. Like, I got into Splatoon 2 around the Hero vs. Villain Splatfest since I finally had the means to pay for it. Like, Nintendo, please, just lower your game prices. I can't drop $60 on a whim like that. I wasn't quite sure or as deep into the squid pit as I am now, and I was under the assumption of, oh, I could just recreate my character from the first game. Like, he's gonna get his own videos soon, but this isn't about him. He can wait. When I popped into the story mode, I quickly realized that no, I was wrong, I was a fool. This is an entirely new squid. This is Agent 4. So I was like, well, shit. And I had like -5 creativity brain cells because I just wanted to jump into the game, no regrets, and I just decided to remedy the situation by changing the eye color from pink to red. But little did pass me know that that was just the starting point of where I was just snowballed into Splatoon hell for the better part of like 4 years at this point, probably, give or take one. When I first made Ritchie, I had no idea what I was doing, like, character-wise. Like, I usually look at the fandom's takes on the agents to get an idea of where to go, and I had, like, even less of an idea of what he would look like. So when I got to the Octo expansion and I started developing my Agent 8, who will also get a video, I drew this picture and I just kind of stuck Ritchie in the corner there, being all hee I should be so gay. But with that in mind, I just kind of thought of him as a sort of mischievous character, like a troublemaker who liked to tease his friends and just overall be a menace to society. Though once I started writing the fics, I thought about like the quirks and the stuff and settled on the idea of his eyes being a bit of an attention grabber because of how red they are, and that sometimes he'd find the attention kind of embarrassing, like he could dish it out but can't really take it. However, in the process, I just kind of ruined everything. Like, I don't know how, but the moment I put this stupid squid into words, he just became a fuckboy, and I just wanted to throttle past me. Like, oh my god, what the fuck is wrong with you? Bruh. Anyway, Ritchie just kind of, I wasn't happy with the kind of character he was, especially his design. I was still trying to grapple with my character design issues while trying to think of a new hairstyle, but like I knew I wanted to keep the idea of him occasionally tucking his hair behind his ear as a sort of character tick. But I couldn't really think of how to keep that idea in mind until I actually got around to designing his mum. And I really loved the braid that I gave her, and I wanted something outside of like the facial features to connect it to. So what ended up happening is that I just kind of chopped off his weird little ponytail, and I turned out that floppy loose tentacle into like a little braid, and I think that was the best decision that I've made in regards to his character design. So now we can just kind of talk about Ritchie and how he is now, because at this point it is just a one-way street from being a fuckboy to a catboy. Around that time, I started to really sit down and just develop him and his personality a little bit more. I started to make his eyes like the focal point of his character, and looking at how some folks integrate like the many types of squid species into their characters, I decided that he would be a vampire squid. Fun fact, vampire squids aren't exactly squid. They're more closer to octopi than anything, but for the sake of simplicity, Ritchie, he is a squid. He is inkling. However, I did decide that in this universe, being a vampire squid is a kind of genetic mutation of sorts. I called it vampirism, and it's basically characterized by things like the eyes being like a super vivid red as opposed to like a regular inkling with red eyes. Vampirism, it's like a super bright noticeable red. The beak shape is different. They have like 4 fangs instead of the usual 3, stuff like that. And this is a part where I stopped writing in the script, so from this point it's gonna be unscripted, but like I like talking about Ritchie, so it's okay. Another thing about Ritchie is how, thanks to his vampirism, he is effectively anemic in a sense. Like, he was very sickly as a kid. Like, growing up, he was mostly bedridden, and he just kind of didn't have many friends, which was pretty rough for him because he already felt like a little bit of an outcast. So being like bedridden didn't really help with that. When talking about what it means to be squid anemic, we were just trying to figure out, okay, what would he be lacking mostly in terms of like nutrients and stuff like that. Like, we found out that he could have trouble with like ink regulations and stuff, so we would look up, hey, what is in squid ink? And one of the biggest things is melanin. And if you look at Ritchie, I think it's safe to say that he's kind of good in the melanin department. But it turns out there's also like iron in ink as well, so we decided that, yeah, he would just pretty much have a huge iron deficiency, and it would kind of be remedied nowadays by dark chocolate. Yeah, fun fact, dark chocolate is rich in iron. I didn't know that till now, so it also helps the fact that he has a sweet tooth, so it all worked out in the end. But he didn't really have that kind of luxury when he was a kid. He would like constantly have to be in bed, making sure he gets all his vitamins and stuff like that, regular hospital visits with his mom, who was also a nurse. And during that time, he again didn't really have many friends, but he did have one friend in the form of Kai, which is my Agent 3, which again, he's gonna get his own video. This isn't exactly about him. Again, I'm sorry, I love you, Kai, but this is Ritchie's time. But they pretty much became like the best of friends until eventually, to pursue like a better lifestyle, they moved to Inkopolis Square. And during this time, Ritchie, he kind of realized, like, he's like a teenager now, he realizes he has like a fresh slate to start over, and he just kind of adopted this cool, cockier personality to like completely counteract his shy, meek, suppressed personalities, just scared to reach out, stuff like that. And one of the things he would do is that he would cover his eyes with like pink contacts, so he wouldn't like have to worry about people looking at him and being like, oh god, what's wrong with your eyes, or something like that, just being overall rude. And it pretty much kind of worked out, but at the same time, his new I'm too cool for school whatever attitude actually got him in a lot of trouble when he started going to school, because teachers would just say that he wouldn't pay attention to class, or that he was just had like an attitude and stuff like that. And it's like, it's not like he has trouble with classes or anything, it's just he's good, he's a smart boy, he just can't pay attention in class. And further sinking into his new identity, it didn't make things any better for him, honestly. Once he was old enough to do like turf wars and stuff, he picked up the dualies, and he basically just kind of stuck with them. Like, he instantly was like a natural with them, and it managed to get him in like a little up and coming team. So he had like friends, he had everything he could ever want. He just wanted friends, he wanted to be respected, he wanted to be seen as like cool and not like some weird, his vampirism gave him like super insecurities and stuff like that. However, one day he lost his contacts in the middle of a turf war, and naturally he started to panic. But one of his teammates at the time had saw him without his contacts, and he didn't treat him like any differently, and so that did give him a little bit of confidence and assurance, especially like after befriending that person, that hey, maybe he doesn't have to like be all fake and stuff. Well, not fake, but he doesn't have to like hide who he really is. Maybe he could just be himself and everything would turn out all nice and dandy. But no, that didn't really turn out all that well. Like one day his team had like a very bad loss, and that team that he had joined, it turned out that they didn't really care for him, especially when they found out that he was basically a vampire, and they took their loss out on him. And then one thing led to another, and let's just say Ritchie can't ingest ink without there being consequences. And the results of that incident, that bullying incident, was that he was banned from turf wars for a few years, and he ended up with his signature scar on his cheek. It points to his eye because he almost lost it in that fight because they were aiming for his eye, but obviously he didn't let that happen, but not without a consequence. But that moment in his life just effectively broke him, so now he is just a complete shell of his like former self. Like he is just very like asocial now. Like he doesn't trust anybody because he fears that if he gets close to anybody again, that something like that could happen. So he'd much rather protect himself and lash out at people, like making them keep their distance, and effectively just kind of become a loner. By the time the Zapfish goes missing again and he's tasked to be the agent for, it's like he didn't want to be the agent for. As a matter of fact, he couldn't care less about the Zapfish being missing. The only reason why he became agent for in the first place is because it started to affect his life personally. He's like, okay, God, fine, I'll be this agent, I'll save the Zapfish, whatever, just let me live my life in peace, Christ. Sometime along this way, he also finds like this injured little bird and takes care of her until she's feeling like better enough to fly again. And this bird he would end up calling Ebony, who was a hooded crow, and she is pretty much the exact opposite of Ritchie. And I think that's just really great for their dynamic because she is just a small little ray of sunshine and she just adores him. Sometimes she gives him like little shiny things like rocks, coins, shiny things she finds on the ground, and even to this day Ritchie still doesn't know if this is this her being friendly, is this a threat, why does she keep bringing me shiny things? I am a little bit nervous, but at the same time it is kind of cute. It is kind of cute. And they just kind of become like best friends, and Ritchie, he cares for her, like makes sure she has a place to stay when the weather gets bad, makes her like little scarves and small hoodies and stuff like that to keep her warm, or just to match, because you know, as a pet owner, sometimes you just gotta match with your pet, even though Ebony is still very much a wild crow, so more like a companion than anything, but you know, he appreciates her company. As of the current day, the basic gist of Ritchie now is he does find himself in a better position than before. Like, he does get to reunite with Kai somewhere down the line, and they pretty much just become best friends all over again. And at some point they both end up joining this team called Frostflower, which is a team that was originally just like them, the Agent 8s, Chu and Bijou, and they recruit like other people that they know. Like Ritchie, like he suggests this one inkling girl he met a while back, Susie, that with a lot of time and persistence on her end, I suppose, they become partners. And in turn, she suggests her cousin, hey, you can bring my cousin along. They find like two other octolings, Lotus and Theo. They all gonna get their own videos too, but they just become like this whole group for like an upcoming tournament. And Ritchie is he's just kind of keeping his distance, except with like the ones he like legitimately knows. And he's still kind of prickly, but he is trying to get the hang of it. Bless his heart, he's trying his best. And he is also like a little bit he's a little bit clingy to those that he cares about. Like, he wasn't exactly the biggest fan of Chu clinging to Kai. Like, he gets so upset about that. Like, no, that's my friend. That's my friend. You back off. And due to strange behavior on Jamie's end, he's also unsure about him, because he would always like hear about how his partner Susie would like fuss about how he's been behaving, how he's been all weird and iffy and keeping his distance and stuff like that. So Ritchie's like, I mean, I guess you're fine, but at the same time I kind of keep an eye on you, because right now I've been hearing nothing but sus things. He's trying to be on his best behavior, but like the various options of the team is not really giving him much room, although he is just gonna have to deal with it, because he's just a dumb cat. That's all he is. He's just a dumb cat. I decided that his birthday would be Halloween because I thought it'd be funny. Like the resident vampire squid, he's just born on Halloween. I love that for him. He is allergic to garlic, but he's one of those people where it's like, yes, I'm allergic to garlic. Yes, I eat garlic because it's freaking delicious. We exist. He is definitely a very big, like affectionate person when it comes to people he cares about, especially like with his mom. He is like a big mama's boy because she's just kind of been with him like literally his entire life. Like, he did have a dad, but he kind of like passed before Ritchie was even born, so he doesn't know much about his dad except for like the stories that his mom would tell him, and he would like hold on to those stories, and he just kind of like crafts like this interpretation of his dad in his dreams or so like that's the closest thing he's got to a father figure, just the dad he made up in his dreams that sometimes hangs out with him and gives him advice and stuff when he's struggling. One other side effect to his him being constantly sick is that Ritchie has insomnia, and he often goes like days or nights without really sleeping, but he does have like a little stuffed sea bunny that helps him sleep when he's struggling. But you know, in order to keep up his bad boy punk personality appearance and stuff like that, he tends to like hide her, even though there's nothing to be ashamed of. If he ever has a chance to relax, he will just like go out on the town, indulge in a little bit of graffiti art. Sometimes he would have like his bass, strum on it, sing to himself just to like decompress a little bit. It's a little bit like an audio diary, though he never like writes down whatever he sings about, because when he does that, he just does that to like get his excess emotions out of the way and just kind of decompress. Yeah, the basic thing about Ritchie is that he is absolutely one of my favorite characters I've made so far. Like, when it's time to actually like work on Frostflower and start sharing the story and everything, his growth is just absolutely incredible, because he also just kind of goes from one of the most like disrespectful, awful, he is a piece of work at first. Just seeing him grow is it's just fantastic. I love him so much. Not to mention, he's also just one of my favorite designs as a whole. Like, I'm so glad I changed his hair and I just incorporated the braid into his style. Like, Ritchie, he is just my boy. He is my boy. One of my best designs and one of the best character growths that I've done in a long while. And I hope when the time comes to start sharing his story and stuff, you guys will just love him as much as I do, even though I am prepared for him to be quite the base breaker because of how divisive his decisions can be sometimes. But yeah, that's pretty much it. This is my boy Richard, the Catboy. He is just like this, and I apologize, but sometimes you have to torment your characters a little bit to get that spicy character growth. I don't make the rules, I only enforce them. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys would like to see like more of these kinds of videos, like I do definitely want to make more videos like this, just info dumping about my OCs, especially when it comes to like the team of Frostflower, like making their designs, making their characters, their stories, their interactions and stuff. They're always so fun, and I can't wait to just indulge in it with you guys. So hopefully I can get like another one of these out soon, but if you want to like see that, be sure to let me know. And if you like this boy, this man's, feel free to like let me know in the comments. Big thank you to my Patreons. If you're to be a Patreon of this channel, it'll get you like what, $2 a month. It's just like a gentle support. You get like your name featured and all that stuff. However, if you pledge $5 or more, you can get like finished videos a day before. You can get Patreon exclusive videos. Like the Patreon exclusive video for this month will be animatic of an MLP idea I had with Animal Cannibal. I've been wanting to do something with that song, and I'm so glad I was able to do something like that. Get like monthly requests in live streams, snippets and stories, all that good old jazz. So yes, big thanks to my $5 Patreons, Adept7777 and Mangepelt, my $10 patron, Mix AC, and $25 patron, thedominusignis. Thank you guys so much for your support. It means a lot. And with said support, I'm able to like put more focus on making videos and stuff, and just overall providing more content to you guys. And I hope you guys had a good and safe Halloween, and I shall see y'all in the next video. Take care.